All right. All right. So here's what's going on. Sorry about the delay there. I seem to have, yeah. All right. So I seem to have fixed the issue, um, and here we are. So what I wanted to do and what I wanted to talk about today was outreach and the importance of it. Um, So what I mean by that is very clearly and simply, we need people to begin to tell other people that they are available. Major issue that I've noticed with the community overall, something that we're trying to get people to do more of, is to believe in one another enough to talk to one another about what's going on. We need more people to give a shit about one another, and we have a few. I think the percentage is small of individuals within the community itself. I'm talking civilians as well. I'm talking first responders. I'm talking veterans. I'm talking active duty military that actually do follow ups on each other. Because sometimes the very people that you think, they would never, do anything to themselves, they would never kill themselves, or they would never hurt themselves, or they would never hurt their loved one, ends up being that very person because they have something pent up inside. And I keep trying to express the importance of that follow up. When you ask somebody, how they're doing, it's one thing to sit there and then things are going well, the job and the life and the man and all that stuff. People do that shit all the time. I do it sometimes too. Things are moving, going forward. What does that mean? What does that actually mean? It doesn't mean anything. So what I'm trying to really get to the point of is we need to start. I think people need to start taking into consideration, if you really want to, be a part of the change, be a part of this ending of suicide, this real war, this real fight that you're in. You have to take it really seriously. When you have the opportunity to talk to somebody who is struggling, or maybe they're not, and you're just talking to someone, ask them how they are, and then say, no, like, really, how are you doing? Like, I want to know how you are. You as the person. I don't really care about your money. I don't care about your job. I don't care about any of that other stuff. I want to know how you're doing, right? Because when you really start asking people those questions and really giving them that opportunity to speak and be heard, they will take you up on it. So today's FML, which usually means fuck my life, but today it means for my life, and then every Wednesday it means for my life. We're going to talk about that, how you're going to be for your life, directly and literally. So it's just going to be me today, just James. So if you guys want to please chat with me too, go right ahead, throw in some thoughts and concerns that you have going on. Wade, hi. So really trying to, get people to think about that, right? And really begin to think about the implications of what it is that that's happening, right? So the ideas of, I think, individuals not actually giving that follow up is because you feel like you're not capable, right? I feel like that's something that we need to talk about too, is how people feel like they're not capable of listening, simply listening to someone else. And that's not the case. Everybody can ask, follow up questions like, hey, so you told me you're like, you're feeling kind of down, like what's going on? Or someone's like, oh, you're feeling really up. You're doing really great. Why is that? Why are you feeling so good? What about this accomplishment do you feel so great about? It's really easy for people to talk about, the good stuff, right? To be like, oh man, that's great. Oh, happy moods, man. I can deal with happy moods. But when somebody says something like, I actually struggle. I actually struggle. I wasn't doing well. Like, yes, I'll give you an example from my point of view. I feel like a lot of people think like, oh, James, he's always happy. He's always good. That is not the case. I went through a lot of shit, mental, some things in my life, and I struggle, right? So I also struggle. I have mornings where I wake up almost every morning. Actually, I wake up and I have to give myself a pep talk. I'm like, oh man, you're good. Today's a good day, and I have to go through that process in my head every day, and it gets tiring, but at the same time, it's also good. And it's good that I do that, and I recognize that's something that I have to get better at. So it is okay to have down days. I was just telling that somebody today. He wasn't a veteran or she wasn't a veteran. The individual was actually just a civilian. They're also helping us out, Project Refit. And that person told me and shared with me that they have blue days, right? And I think that it's important that we recognize that it's okay to have those blue days, to be down, to have an off week, to have an off month. Shit, some people can sometimes have a slump of a couple of months or years, and that's still okay. Wow, mind blowing to say that out loud, right? So, and even to think about that, it's okay to have those days and those times where you're just not okay. And as long as you're making a concerted effort to pull yourself out and to make a change, everything's fine, right? So, tell me what you think about that. If anybody's watching this right now, go ahead and throw in some of your comments and how what your morning ritual is to have yourself give yourself a good start to the day. Like what are the things that you do? Please share that if you'd like. But that's just something that we're trying to. I think that one of the bigger goals that we're trying to really get across here at Project Refit is, how can we change the narrative effectively, right? So changing that narrative and making it a positive push, making genuinely a grinded and a concerted effort to make it normal to tell somebody I'm not doing too hot, right? Like, how do we do that? How do we make that a comfortable conversation for people consistently? I think that's something that we have to really talk about more. So for me, it's simply just giving a shit, right? Like caring for 1 minute, 2 minutes out of your day to ask somebody, you're talking to somebody, asking them how they're actually doing. Like, I'll give you another example. So I was at an event yesterday, and I was talking to an individual I haven't spoken to in a very long time, and I asked the person, so like, how was, because I know the person's business. They were in a print business, and I was like, man, how was your 2020? I know that must have been rough. And he's like, yeah, it was, blah, blah, blah. I was like, how did you do though? Like, how were you up here? Like, how are you feeling? He's like, I was feeling stressed out, man, throughout the whole year, but things are picking up again, and it feels good to have that. And in that moment, he just went and went and went and went, spoke and spoke and spoke. And I really just enjoyed listening to him talk, right? Because I know that that person probably wasn't asked that in a long time, and I was able to give that to them, right? And I was able to give them that moment where they can just talk about themselves, and I can genuinely listen and have a conversation with them about it. Because never forget that at the end of the day, people love to talk about themselves, and that's okay. You're allowed to, especially in a space where you're supposed to, right? Like I wanted that guy to know that, hey man, like I'm here to listen, and that's it. Like I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life. And I think those are just some respectful, I guess you could say, respectful. What are the things I'm looking to say? Um, Communication cues, right? Some respectful communication cues to just allow that person to speak. Because something here, I'll share something else with you. I actually struggle a lot when I'm in person. It's very hard for me to communicate with people when I'm in person. I don't know why that is, but so instead of me communicating a lot, I ask the person a lot of questions. You're right, about what they're going through, trying to get them to talk, because I'm actually consistently and almost always uncomfortable, unless I'm in like a competitive scenario where I know that I can talk some shit and maybe have maybe like, oh wow, you did this amazing, and tell the person how cool of a shot or whatever it is that they just did. Like again, yesterday, cornhole tournament for my buddy TJ. This one guy was dropping bags. I mean, like the dude was curving. You know that movie Wanted where you curve the bullet? He was curving a bag and into a hole. It was crazy. And I wanted the guy to know, man, I saw that, and you're fucking great. And and that's something I could do. But everyone else that I spoke with, I talked to them about them, because it's really hard for me to actually communicate about me. I don't know. I don't know what to say actually when I'm with people in person. When I'm on the internet and stuff like that, I'm very comfortable. I don't feel a lot of pressure. I don't get as awkward in big rooms and such. I'm very quiet when I'm in person. A lot of the time, I don't talk a lot, and so they're like, wow, man, it sounds like you talk a lot, but I choose when I speak. I don't say a lot of words when I'm in person. I do a lot of listening though, and I think that's just like it's a thing with my brain. I don't know. I don't know. But it's just who I am, the way that I am. But bottom line is, I want to get back to the point of we need to allow ourselves to hear each other, because there's been a few suicides recently that none of our guys, thankfully, and I hope never our guys. Quite honestly, I wish that upon Project Refit, that every single veteran or first responder or family member that we touch stays with us. And that's the goal. We want people to live, and I think the only way that we can accomplish that is if everyone who watches this, civilians and everyone, jumps in on the bandwagon of allowing ourselves to hear each other. So Wade, he brought up something that he does for the mornings. I assume it was back to that question. He says he goes to the gym and he reads something positive. And recently he's been reading things that are positive for himself. That's great. Get those positive affirmations in your mind. That's a really good way to start your days off. That's a really good way to push yourself forward. I like that a lot, Wade. And I believe that for me, I give myself a lot of positive affirmations because, once you read one book that's all about, I guess, self-motivation or those self-help books. Once you've read one, you read them all pretty much, right? But me personally, I don't like to read those all the time. I love to read, but I love to read books that give more direct facts, right? About what's actually happening in your brain, and because when it comes down to those positive affirmations or the things that you can get coached for, I personally, I feel like it's something that I already do. I told somebody the other day, I'm like a motivational book on legs. Like my brain just operates that way. That's just how I am personally. And I feel like that's something that, I have naturally. So I like to read more factual books, like, psychology or psychology-based books, or things like a Malcolm Gladwell, who takes facts and figures and puts it into amazing written stories as well. So a good mixture of the two. I really like to read books that help me to learn something, right? I like to learn things. That's what I like to do. I like to learn something every day. And I like to, get myself in my own head to be positive, right? I like to get in my head to be positive, but of course that always doesn't happen. There are things that I struggle with too. Of course, I'm very open about all of that. And I'm not afraid of it because I know that's the tough thing to do. And I think that's something else that we have to really get to become more of a narrative is, hey, we need to get tough. And what tough means is you need to open up so you can be good and be okay. Take the few minutes per day to kind of and relax and be grateful for what you have around you. I mean, that's why we did the Grateful Challenge here at Project Refit, and it blew up on LinkedIn. I'm thinking about trying to do it again for social media, for the other social medias, like Facebook and Instagram and such, because I think that the Grateful Challenge was amazing for the simple fact that it allowed people to get in the habit of being grateful. And I noticed that I started a trend now where there's other people now doing a 21-day like mindfulness challenge, right? Like John McCaskill and Dr. Teresa, his partner, Dr. Teresa. They are doing the 21-day mindfulness challenge. I love it. I love that this idea of giving people a chance to to think positively, and force themselves at least once every day. It's very hard to do. Force yourself to be grateful for something every day. So for me, I was getting super negative earlier about something in my head, and I don't know why it was. And I literally just sat there and I said, man, I'm grateful that I have working legs, right? And that's something, as weird as that sounds. I got really grateful for that, right? And I was like, all right, you know what? I'm grateful that my legs are working because I have a hurt knee right now. And again, I can't remember what I was getting negative about, but I just chose something. I was like, I'm grateful for my legs. I'm happy I have these fucking things, you know? And because I know some people don't have them, and then they have to become people who, like veterans, right? Or people who had cancer, or someone that got hurt in a car accident or something like that. Um, you know, they may have lost their legs, and you know what? I'm happy that I have mine, and I'm grateful that I have mine. I'm grateful I don't have to go through that challenge mentally of having to become grateful for everything else in my life because I don't have my legs, right? And I think that we need to find those things that we are grateful for every single fucking day, honestly. And as little as I'm grateful I have my fingers, my index finger. I'm grateful I have a beard. I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to talk to people like you every day. I'm grateful that I am a part of Project Refit. I'm grateful. You could say that you're grateful for you having a job. That you're grateful that you have a husband or a wife or a kid or a dog or a cat, I guess. I'm just kidding. They grateful you have a cat or an animal, something. It helps. I know that, you might pop in and be like, oh, this guy's talking shit. For real, it works. I'm telling you, it can change your life. But we have to start telling our friends and our family members that they also should be grateful for things, that they also have things that they can, look forward to, and that they also have resources and communities that they can tap into. We need to begin to spread the good word because there's somebody out there that's literally just killed themselves, right? Like, that's crazy to think about. But somebody just took their own life because they felt like they weren't capable of doing anything, or like their life wasn't worth living. And everybody's life is. I mean, it's worth it. Even if it's going to sound crazy, but even if it's to the point where you end up, homeless or something, it's worth it. Even people, because that's your still have life. You could have, as a homeless person, could give you a meaning to life, a brand new meaning to life. And I'll tell you what, that happened to me. The reason why I bring that up is that happened to me. I'm happy that there was a woman out there in New York that years ago, and I wrote about it too, that years ago almost gave me like a new outlook on life. Really, I know that I am the one that ended up challenging my own brain for how I was reacting to things, but without her, I never would have had that opportunity to have that thought experiment, right? Because it's important to value life always and to be grateful for even the smallest of things. Because as soon as you begin to look around and look at the outdoors and how beautiful it is outside, and the light and the sun and the trees, I mean, that's why I'm telling you this story of. I can tell you this story, and I love telling this story of the guy who came into one of our radio checks one time. He's a combat veteran, and he was here. He came in to motivate one of his brothers that was going through it, and he flat out said a whole story. I'm shortening it up, and he was like very angrily. He said this too. It was great. This guy, angry happy, as I put it now, because I'm very aggressive, and I guess I could be an angry happy sometimes too. Where like, is he angry or is he happy? I don't know what's happening with this guy, but like even this whole time, you could think like, why is he yelling about all this stuff? It's just I talk loud, I'm energetic, and whatever. I can't control it. It's just the way I am. So this guy's very similar, and he came in and he was like, you need to go outside and you need to go pick the fucking flower and smell it. You need to feel the grass, look at the sky, and look how blue it is. I mean, the guy was like fucking losing his mind about being grateful and about and I loved it, every second of it, actually. And he's like, and you need to just recognize everything's fucking great. I love the world. I love life. And he started yelling about how much he loved life and how much he just recognized how beautiful everything is around him, and he allowed himself to do that. And I don't know how you're going to do that for yourself or for other people, and to tell them about Project Refit and that there's a community here, or tell them about the DAV that's local, or the VFW, or the American Legion that's local, where go see your brothers, go see your sisters. You have a community, you have a support system. Your life matters. There is a mission to be had and to be found out there in this life. It's not something worth giving up on. I understand that people struggle with why am I here and my brothers are dead? Why am I here and all of my entire unit died in an explosion, or my closest unit and my closest friends died in an explosion, but I'm still here today? It's bullshit. I should be dead with them. I've heard people say that. I've also heard people say things like, I wasn't even expecting to be alive right now, right? Those are for the veterans out there. But you're alive. So that means you can do anything. You're at this great opportunity where if you feel like you have nothing, oh my God, think about the power in that, right? If you already feel like you have nothing, you literally have everything. You have everything ahead of you. I can't even tell you how amazing that is to think about. When you have nothing, you have literally everything ahead of you because that means you can do anything. You can literally create everything at that point around you. You can manifest whatever the fuck you want. And I think that's something that's really incredible to think about and to value, right? Because as soon as we sit there and start telling ourselves we can't do something and we're getting super negative and we're beating ourselves up in our minds and our brains, that's when you have the opportunity to completely flip the script and you can change that shit every day that you wake up. I'd have to do it all the time. Wade just joined in. What's up, Wade? Wade is going to have some probably issues with, there we go. He's probably having issues with his Wi-Fi. So it looks like he's already getting that. But yeah, that's that thought for me to tell your brothers and your sisters that we are here, right? I mean, like we got to start telling people that we're available. We're seriously, we are literally available all the time. And I don't want to hear, I mean, it's going to happen. I wish I didn't have to hear anymore about guys killing themselves and taking their own lives. And even sometimes it gets even more violent than that. And like, there's seriously opportunity all around us, and there's chance and there's hope, and there's a lot. There's just a lot that's available, and we need to start telling each other that more. I think it comes down to the community. So that's what I think, and I think it's up to you. It's up to me. It's up to everybody to really believe that, believe that we have the power as a community here in the United States of America to change the narrative. So, what's up, Wade? Turn off Wi-Fi on your phone. You might be able to tune in with us and actually talk a little bit. You're skipping, brother. As we wait for Wade, I'll just continue going. I'm going to let him figure his shit out. I think that he's trying to talk. Also, I can't hear you, bud. Something's going on with your mic too. So I really want to drive that point home that we all need to be a part of this. We can't just push people off onto, we can't push the veteran to the VA, push the first responder over to his therapist or psychologist. We got to stop doing that shit. We got to stop writing people off. Honestly, writing people off is, personally, I think it's bullshit. I don't think we need to be doing that. I think that's unhealthy. I think it's unfair. And I think it's, quite honestly, I think it's dumb. I think it's dumb. I don't agree with it. I think it's a way to make ourselves feel like we have less responsibility. It's bullshit, man. This is a person's life, and it could be somebody that you really care about. It could be a best friend, or it could be someone else. But the thing is, if you make an effort, a concerted effort to actually listen to your brothers and your sisters, and your friends and your family, then you shouldn't beat yourself up at all. You should never beat yourself up about it either, by the way. Let me just bring it back. That was a super aggressive statement that I just made, obviously. I apologize for that. But at the same time, I kind of mean it. But if someone in your life does take their own life, you shouldn't take the blame, because they're just struggling and they do have something, an affliction that's going on that they weren't addressing themselves. But if you put yourself out there as that person that, hey, I'm here for you, that's totally great. And it's amazing. I think humility is super important too. I think that it builds a lot of humility. Here, Wade, you're back in.
Yeah, I got it fixed. I just switched laptops.
Gotcha. So a lot of the stuff I've been saying is basically we need to start looking out for each other more. And I think that we keep on pushing people off to organizations a lot, and we keep pushing people off and just not hearing them out. I don't know if you saw that message that we got, but there was another suicide that just happened, and I'm really, really grateful that the guy reached out to us and got a lot off his chest and was able to talk to us. But it's really triggering me, honestly. I'm like, we got to tell people that it can't be just Project Refit. It can't just be the other great organizations that exist out there that are doing everything. It's all of us. It's a community. It's literally the entire community needs to step up together to hear each other. You know, I mean, that's why even Project Refit wants to do the national tour that we want to do, is because it's, hey, we're here, but so are you. You're here too, right? Like, we can all do this together.
Yeah, we want to be the spark to the fire, spark to the gas that starts the fire. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Shit, bro. I mean, here I am with it. I mean, you know my struggle this past like 2 months have not been sincerely great with everything going on, and for anybody else that's watching, whatever, it's been a roller coaster between hospitals and whatnots in my back and drinking booze and whatever. I'm pretty open about it. I don't care. But this is what I'm getting at here is, if you can create a support system, and I am pretty hard at reaching out for help. I feel like even me in that singular moment, reaching out to whoever I reached out to, I think that let them know that it's okay to be vulnerable to me as well. Like it's reciprocated, like to see somebody that a lot of people view as a strong human being, like, and yourself as well. But a strong human being, like, reach out and be like, hey, bro, I'm fucking, I'm not doing well. I think that creates an open dialogue for people to talk back and forth about what they're struggling with. Because the problem is we're such an alpha society that we don't want to swallow our pride and ask for help. So being a real leader and being a real alpha is recognizing when you need to talk to somebody.
Exactly fucking correct. Because the true alphas are the ones that they literally stand apart, right? So they're the ones that stand apart and they say what needs to be said. And that's why we're saying, if you need to seriously open up, fucking do it and be the true alpha. Because true alphas actually ask people how they're doing, because they're ready to have those hard conversations. They're ready to do the hard thing, the uncomfortable thing. That's what a real alpha does, right? Like the dude that stands up and even says things like, I don't want to go and be around a group of people that make me uncomfortable because of social pressures. Fuck that. I know what my boundary is. I know exactly where I need to be and where I need to stand. I know the hill that I stand on is the one that a lot of people are afraid to get to. That's what true alphas do, right? Male or female, right? They're the ones that are opening up and they're talking about it. You don't have to do it in a way of like, oh, boo-hoo, cry me. No, you don't have to do it that way. You can be like, you know what? I've been struggling. I've been going through it. I'm okay. I'm not going to harm myself, but I've been going through it. And that's all right. So that's where I'm standing right now. In this, like I say to people sometimes when I'm really in days that I have meetings and shit, and I'm like going through it, and I have a one-on-one with somebody, I'm like, hey, listen, by the way, and I've done this multiple times. I say to the person, listen, I'm here. If I seem like I'm upset or I'm not really like fully energetic like I usually am, it's because I'm not. It's because I am struggling. It's because I'm not having a good day today. And I'm not saying that for you to hang up on me or to cancel the meeting or move it. It's not that big of a deal. I'm just letting you know if it seems like I'm not fully here. It's because I'm genuinely not, but I am here and I'm ready to do some work with you. And they always have the positive response of, oh, okay, thanks for letting me know. So they know exactly where we stand.
Because if you're telling them that initially right off the bat, you're being like, hey, dude, I'm a problem solver, and part of my problem solving is being open, because that is what the problem that we're trying to solve is not. It is isolation, but if you think about the core of isolation, it's feeling alone and by yourself and not feeling like you can communicate with other people. And what is our mission statement? Combat isolation. You know what I mean? And like even me, people on here probably will watch this and be like, hey, like, Wade reached out to me, like, and I think we all know I suck at that, but and it wasn't like
pretty good.
It wasn't like super crazy anything, but it was crazy enough to where it was just like, hey man, like, I'm not feeling good in my head. Like, I just want to like talk, because That's our fucking mission, dude. How could I be a proficient fucking leader and tell people to do this crap if I'm not doing it myself? And that's what we do, bro. Like when you were saying like you were having trouble and you were on here, you were on the internet, and you were or you were on social media saying like, hey man, I have not been doing good. Like this is what we do as leaders. We have to let everybody know, like even us as leaders, we suck, dude. Like I mean, not suck as in bad at our job, but suck as in we have bad fucking days.
We have bad days too. Exactly. Even your greatest leaders in the world have bad days. Literally, the toughest motherfucker that you know has bad days too. I mean, listen, baseball is a sport that I love so much. The greatest baseball players on the planet Earth also make errors, right? They have games where they will have a ball come in routine, go right between their fucking legs. They make errors too. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody fucks up. Everybody has a blue day, as a guy was saying to me today. And I let him know, hey man, that's cool. Because I drove it out of him. I said, hey, like, so what else is going on? He says, well, I have blue days sometimes. And I was like, next time you have a blue day, hit me up because I'm right here. I'm ready to fucking listen to you. I don't care. And you know what? Like, that's the hard thing to do. And somebody just commented, actually, it was Bear. He said that, hang on. He also said you have to have compassion as well. And I agree with that. Compassion, so empathy, right? That's actually so he's talking about empathy, true empathy. Empathy is not sympathy, all right? So there's a difference, right? So if I need your sympathy, I'm going to be crying and boo-hooing all that shit. Fuck that. I want your empathy. All I want you to do is to hear me and understand me. I don't need you to tell me, oh, it's okay, everything's going to be fine, and fucking pet my head like I'm a sad, sick puppy. I don't need that shit. But what I need you to do is let me sit here and tell you, hey, man, today fucking sucked. Like, I was telling myself I was a fucking asshole, and then all you need to do is go, yeah, dude, I do that shit too sometimes, man. It's fucking ridiculous, right? It's like, yeah, it's fucking, why does my brain do that? And it's like, you know what I mean? Like, why do we do those things? I don't need you to fucking treat me like a sympathy little fucking dead puppy. You know, I don't need that shit because I'm here. I'm alive. I'm still grinding. I'm pushing every day to bring in more money for this nonprofit, to expand this shit out. I'm bringing in people into my for-profit to expand that shit out. I'm testing out new places to make, whatever. I'm growing, I'm listening, I'm always there for people. And sometimes I need people for me too, right? Which is okay. And that's the thing. But there's a difference between sympathy and empathy. I need your empathy, not your sympathy. And I think people, when they think about like, oh, the struggle, they're thinking like, oh, you need somebody to tell you while you fucking cry that they're going to be okay. No, if you start crying, I'm going to let you fucking bawl your eyes out, and I'm not going to be like, everything's good, man. If I say everything's good, I'm like, yo, bro, I want you to know as you're crying, like everything's good. Everything will be fine. I promise you. All right, let's keep on. Get those feelings out. Fucking do it. Make it happen. I understand what you're going through right now, and it's normal, right? So that is different than the kind of thing, right? I don't need your bullshit. I don't need that. Right? I think a lot of alphas are like that. Right. I don't need you to fucking, right. I need you to just play me the little violins and shit. We need that. Fuck that. We need the hey, this is the action plan. As you're fucking cry, that's your action plan. Cry it out. Fucking start yelling it if you have to. Like the person that I just talked to literally yesterday, I was like, fucking dude, scream it out. That's what you're going through is actually, you need to scream it out worthy. Go for a private drive in your car and fucking yell that shit out of your body. And that's totally okay. Like, just don't suppress it all. Do not get it out. The person fucking did it and actually they sent a picture. I don't know if you saw any of it or not, because it's actually to our page. Wade.
Oh yeah, I saw it, yeah.
Like, fucking love that, dude. I didn't give that guy sympathy. He didn't need it. He needed an action plan. He just needed an action plan for getting these emotions out, and we provided him with something. And that's exactly what the fuck he wanted and needed. And I'm still going to check up on him for the next couple of days or so to see how he's doing, and then go through the whole process. I'm so proud of that person. So proud of that person for reaching out to us in that time, in that moment that he needed, right? Because that's really hard. And he obviously needed that shit. And I'm really proud of him for it. But anyway, so There's a difference between sympathy, empathy. Start giving each other more empathy. Like stop thinking that everything has to be like, oh, I can't handle these emotions. If you can't handle someone's poor emotions, like their sadness, there's something you need to work on yourself, right? There's something that you have inside that you've been suppressing for a long time that you can't handle listening to somebody, another human. There's actually something else that's inside of you that's preventing you from doing that, and you need to work on that. That is not that person's problem. That is not the person's problem that's trying to open up. It is actually your problem that you need to work on. So that's like a testament to that. So anyway, that's another thought, but
That's probably a comfortability issue, like a comfort issue. I mean, like
for sure,
a lot of people are raised in this way that men don't cry, or even will just go like even sexes, like it's not okay to cry, like it's weak to cry. And so when somebody cries, like me, dude, I used to be like, if somebody started crying, I'd be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like I would really think that, but now I don't. But this is me back then. It's like, suck it up, dude. Like go drink some water. You're gonna be okay. Now I'm the one that's like, dude, don't cry. You're gonna make me cry. We can do this together. But like it's because you're taught that, especially like in the military, which I'm not hating on it. I'm just saying, you don't cry, because especially in the infantry too, of all things, because we're not supposed to cry. We're just supposed to drink water and drive on. So I feel like there's a stigma there between being there for your battle buddy. Like, yeah, we are loyal to each other. Yeah, we do talk to each other, but also it's hard to ask for help, because nobody wants to, especially if you were like a leader, nobody wants to be that leader who feels like they failed their guys and has to go lean on their guys. Like their guys always leaned on them. You know what I mean? And your guys end up being your best friends. But nobody wants to be that leader that has to eventually, collapse back onto their guys. But everybody needs a break, man. You can only be strong for so long. You can only lift weights so long before you need a rest day, bro. That's with everything,
That's right. That's right. And I think that it's actually, speaking of lifting and the analogies of lifting and working out, your rest days are just as important as your days you're lifting, right? So if we look at that and we take that analogy, the days that you're working on yourself and everything's going well, and then that one bad fucking lift day that you have, and the next day is a rest day, take it. So when you're fucking going through, so to wrap into the analogy, when you're doing really well and everything is fucking crushing it. I just had this happen to me actually recently, where I was even saying, damn, everything's going way too smooth. Everything is moving way too smooth right now. When is this shit going to happen? When is that thing going to happen? When's that thing going to pop? And it fucking happened. But you know what? I stayed calm in the situation. I calmed everybody else down around me. And I said, listen, everything's going to be fine. We're going to fucking figure it out. There's really no big issue here at all. Like we're totally okay. Let's just keep on pushing, right? Like we need to figure out. It's just another problem we have to solve. That's all it is. And it worked out, and it is working out for the better. Actually, there was something better that was lined up eventually. So I think that we need to take seriously those days that we're beginning to feel those fucking emotions and stop suppressing them. For fuck's sake, stop suppressing emotions, because when you suppress emotions, they blow up into terrible things. Sometimes, again, very brutal things for some people. It turns into a brutal blow up. And I don't have to get into the details of that, because that's exactly what happened. Even with the guy that we fucking were just talking to yesterday, his buddy, it got brutal, and it was it's fucked up. And we need to not allow those things to happen. And the way you prevent it is by talking to these people. Sometimes you can't prevent it though, but shit gets fucking brutal sometimes in life. So we got to allow that, the emotions to come out, and you just need to talk to somebody before you make a huge mistake. And I don't know if anybody's listening right now, that if you're going through it, please reach out. Like, fucking do the hard thing and open up. Stop not doing that, because that's actually the easy thing to do. That is When you don't open up, you're not being alpha. You're not being strong. You need to fucking open up to somebody sometimes. Because I don't even like it when people say, "Oh, it's weakness when you open up." Oh wait, no, it's fucking not. It's human. You can be the absolute toughest balls to the wall fucking person. Like John McCaskill is a great example. And I think the reason why he's blowing up so big is because he is the perfect example. The dude's a Navy SEAL commander, right? Fucking changed his life with mindfulness. And like, I call it the warrior monk. You know what I mean? That's why even in England now, they're actually training all their soldiers in literal yoga and mindfulness and learning how to be calm. Because if you could become the type of killer, the type of soldier that is also calm and keeps your emotions together, that's fucking terrifying. That means you know how to process your emotions the whole time. You are more effective at that point. You are a more effective person. If you know how to sit there in the middle of a tense situation and you can sit back when somebody's yelling in your face and they're getting all angry at you and shit, and you're just stone cold. I was called a fucking robot one time because some dude was super fucking pissed off and was like losing his fucking gourd. And I just sat there. Just fucking sat there and took it. Just calm. And I responded calm. And I made sure that I was pointing out, hey, I understand what's happening. I know what's going on, and I'm sorry that you're getting very upset. And if I'm doing it, I also do genuinely apologize. But I really want to figure out what's happening even more. It was in a business scenario, and the person ended up calming down actually and apologized. It was great. But the thing is like, if you can be calm in those situations, and the reason why I was able to is because I've also been able to get off this shit off of because if I had something pent up inside of me, I would have flipped right back out on that guy. Would have lost my shit on that guy. Because that's what happens. When you keep everything pent up inside, you make poor decisions. You make poor decisions because you don't know how to decide for yourself what's going on. So we need to just let each other get normalized that whole conversation of I'm going through shit. And you needed to tell people too, if you can't handle it, get the person to talk to people who are ready to do that.
I know that we're talking about encouraging everybody to reach out to a friend, but I do just want to make an example real quick, or I prove.
Yeah.
How many circles, James, have we created at Project Refit between people that don't even know each other, that contact each other now, that had no connection before Project Refit? So anybody that's listening to this, shoot us a message, man, and we'll find you your group, dude. We'll find you your fire team. We'll find you your squad. I mean, really, it's up to you who you like and who you don't like, because everybody's different personalities.
Yeah, right.
We have created so many teams here, and it was honestly coincidental. Everybody just had these stories. Like me and Jimmy became pretty like decently close. You know, I didn't know who Jimmy was, dude.
Yeah.
But
by the way, yeah, I'm good.
Oh no, that was meant for somebody else.
Oh, okay.
But
I
want to preach to everybody on here to utilize Project Refit. We are encouraging you. Please do reach out to your friends because they need it. But if you don't have a circle, we'll give you somebody in your fucking corner, man. We got you.
100%. We are so ready and able to we want you to reach out to us. We want those people who are ready to fucking talk. Here's another thing. I don't give a shit if you're a civilian or if you're a first responder, a veteran, a family member. We don't fucking care anymore. Just reach out, dude. Like, we just want people to feel the hope, right? Like, just open up, make it normal, normalize this conversation. Because, I mean, the thing that bothers me is that when I get those messages of like, "Hey, man, my buddy just killed himself," and it's like, first off, I'm like, did we know this person? And then they always say no. And it's like, fuck. Like, why didn't they know about us? Why didn't they know about like another organization that like, how do we solve this problem? Right. And it always comes down to, who does know that person? The person that reached out to us, right? The person that is going to their funeral knew them. We need to start just checking in on each other and then asking that hard follow-up question of, I really want to know how you are. right? And by the way, that's not me. And I want to make very clear again, I'm not blaming anyone for suicide. It is not if somebody killed themselves, you could do everything right and it still happens. You could literally do everything. It's not okay. Suicide is not okay, but you are okay. You did everything you could, right? And even if it was you asked one time, that could have extended that person's life, and you never would know it, right? Like that's the other thing too. We're not trying to save lives; we're trying to extend lives, right? I think Wade, you said that a couple of years ago. The beauty of Project Refit is we recognize that death is real; it's going to happen, but we just don't want people to do it via their own themselves because we're all going to die. We're all going to die. We're just trying to extend lives, right? All we're trying to do is just allow this person to feel like they have a community where they can, when they take a risk and they take a big risk for themselves, they have a community they can fall back on to talk to about it and to not be judged, right?
Somebody once told me, and I'm a firm believer in this, and I try to, sometimes I forget it, to be honest, but somebody told me, when you think about somebody, it's the universe telling you to contact them.
I like that.
So, I mean, I've tried to practice that, but people, I think I'm weird sometimes because I'm like, hey, man, are you all right? Like, yeah, I'm cool. Why? What's up? Oh, nothing. Just reaching out. I will say this, dude. Weird.
I've been on point every time because you know what I do? I always ask, yeah, I know you're good, but like, how are you? Really? And you know what's always happened? The person always goes, you know who I did it with? You know who I did it with a lot? Actually, for some reason, I knew it was one of my ex-girlfriends. Actually, I had this like weird connection to her where I knew there was something wrong, and I would contact her and be like, "Yo, are you okay? I just want to know, like, is everything good?" She'd be like, "You're so fucking." She's like, "I don't understand how weird you're weird, but like, I'm not actually, and I need to talk." I was like, "Okay, cool. Like, what's up?" And like, and she, we were younger when we dated, and she hurt me and whatever, but I never like. She's always been nice. She was always a nice person. She just made a big mistake or whatever, and that's okay. Well, it's not okay, but it's okay now. But like, she's not a bad person, and like, I just wanted to make sure that she was okay. You know what I mean? And she needed somebody for a little while, and I was happy that I was actually able to be that. Right. So, but we need to start listening to that inner voice too, man, because our gut, I'm telling you, our gut knows. It just knows. I don't know how our intelligence, how we're connected to humans like that, but we just are, bro. And it's just the way it is. And we need to start listening to that shit more often.
Is this the X that I'm thinking of?
No.
Tap your leg twice if it is.
Once. It is not. It is not. That's crazy shit that happened. And no, I actually did check up on her one time, and she did need to talk real bad. So yes and no, I should say.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what, dude? We gotta start preaching that. We're gonna say it to people from now on. Like, if you're thinking of somebody, reach out to them.
Okay. Yeah. Right. I got you. We should do that. I agree.
Indiscriminatory. I don't care if you dislike them or not, because obviously you're practicing what you preach, man. You know what I mean? Like, if you're thinking of somebody, reach out to their ass. What's the worst they're gonna say? Nothing. That's the worst.
Fucking nothing. Dude, I told someone recently, I was going through a lot of shit in my own head, and I tried telling somebody a couple of weeks ago, like, I was like, hey, I just want to tell you how I really feel. Like, how do you feel? I got nothing. I got like a fucking like complete shit response. And I was like, I still don't know what's happened, but whatever. I got to move on with my life. So you got to just ask. You can't make assumptions. You know what I mean? Like, you cannot go through your life assuming shit, because that's also it's a waste of your brain. Fuck assumptions.
I've reached out.
What you're doing,
bro? I've reached out to people, and it like hurts my feelings. Like, like when you're going through that, like, am I a terrible person, or am I not? This isn't recent, but like, I'm just saying, like, so I've been like, hey man, I'm gonna try and mend things with this friend, and then you send out this like really like heartfelt long message, and you're like, I just want to apologize, this and that, and then you get no answer, but they leave you on red. You're like, you know what, man, fuck you.
No, I get that feeling, but like, I don't do that. Like mine was I got a response, but it wasn't a response. It was like what just happened? I thought, and then it's like, you know what? I'm not mad about it. I'm not upset about it. You can't get upset about uh, the lack of someone else's. You can be like kind of mad or whatever, but you should just. It's not you. It's not you. It's that person, positive or negative. It's that person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like you did what you could for you, but you have to then move on and move forward for yourself, for them, in fact, too, right? Because if you don't, you're just gonna obsess and like do just think wrong and like not worry about getting your life together and doing what you have to do for you and I mean that for everybody, right? When I say you, I'm not talking about. I'm saying that hypothetically, generally. By the way,
Yeah. I know, man. You gotta clarify.
But just for clear communication. But that's just very communication's so weird, even with ourselves. That's what I'm actually getting at too. Is like sometimes a person, like I've noticed and I've recognized, sometimes a person has no idea how to actually communicate with themselves. So by you asking someone how they're doing and what's going on, you're actually helping them. You're helping that person communicate with themselves sometimes, right? And like that's a great thing, and that's all listening can do that for you.
Yeah, I agree. I think that how are you doing is probably when I was working in the
Double, how are you doing?
Yeah, that's true. But when I was working in the restaurant world, right, this was a real thing. I was like, I am going to die. And the most common question I've asked in my lifetime is, how do you want your burger done? Like, I was asking that every day, multiple times a day. Not how are you doing? Not, how's your day going? I was like, how would you like your burger done? And I was like, oh, you know what, dude? And that like really poisoned that fucking poisoned my soul, bro. Like I would think about it every day. I was like, I know I'm trying to work on being this good person, and I would tell my coworkers, I was like, I am gonna fucking die one day, and the most commonly asked question I'm gonna have is some pink or no pink. That was the question, So I was just like, I can't do this.
Right.
So I mean, I had to do something about it, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like your most commonly asked question in your life, it should be something important. That is a thing that you should be like, what am I asking every day? What is going to be the question that I ask? Is it beneficial to society? Is it beneficial to myself? And some pink or no pink ain't doing it for me, James. It just was not, bro. Like, so I had to fix it, man. I don't want to die and wonder at the end of my life, what did I ask people the most? Because that says a lot about your character. You know what I mean? It's true. Just like, what is your most common statement that you made? Is it fuck you, or is it you're a wonderful person? That says a lot about people. People write shit on gravestones for a reason, man.
I love that thought. You know what I just thought of in that moment? So first off, I'm going to, hey, anybody that's watching this, what do you want written on your gravestone? Here's what I want. How are you? I want a person to fucking walk up, but twice, how are you? And then have a colon, no, really, how are you doing? That's what I want on that's what I want on my gravestone, bro. Because like, you know what people say when how are you? They're like, I'm good. It's like, what? The fuck? It's like, what? How are you? Like, give me a real answer, right? Like, give me something real. And that's what I want. That's what I want on my gravestone, man. Yeah. Like, I want to be known as the dude that actually, that's why I love this, because there was a fucking meeting I was in one time. It was a networking thing. And I literally, I had a dude that said like, hey, when James asks you how you're doing, he's actually asking. So give him an answer. He'll fucking pry it out of you. Damn right. Fucking right I will. I want to know what's up. Who am I working with?
That is the most complimentary forewarning you can get about a person.
The best fucking thing I like, dude, I literally was like, wow, thank you so much. That was a very nice compliment. Thank you. And like, that's exactly what that's what this is about. That's literally what this is about. It's fucking awesome, man. I love that. What do you want on your gravestone? What do you want? What's a quote?
Do you even lift? No, I'm just kidding. If I had to be, no.
Oh,
if I had to be
I hate that
serious, it's,
so much.
hey
That
man,
is so funny.
you got. How are you doing? My
Do
most.
you even lift, bro?
This isn't a gravestone thing. Like my gravestone would probably say, left the world a better place than when he came into it, because that's my goal in this entire thing. Like that is what I live to do, man. Like, I have my own trials and tribulations, as well as we all do, but I genuinely want to make this. It's not a sad world. I mean, but we have a lot of problems, and I would just love to, even if you could change one life, man, you change the world, So, I would like to change more than one life, ideally, but let's make
Already
the world a
have.
better place.
Already have, dude.
Most commonly asked question in the world. Man, I think how are you doing is probably the best question. That is the most, because it's deep. There's depth to that. It's not, there's so many dimensions to that question, because you could talk about your day, you could talk about your life, you could talk about your mom, your dad, your dog, there's a lot of dimensions to that question, dude. Find your purpose, or are you just wasting? Okay, I'm not going to read all that.
Oh man, can you give me permission to say that? I can't say that.
No.
The fuck? Find your purpose, or you just wasting air. Fuck it, dog. You ninjas scared. That's what Nick said. Obviously, it's not ninjas. And I mean that. Hell yeah, man.
He's saying it was Nipsey.
Yeah, Nipsey. Yeah, Nipsey said that. Dude, it's so fucking. Finding your purpose is so important too. But also, you know what the purpose of a human is? You know what? It's to live, right? Like that's just fucking live. Like I I can't stress enough how that word. Like let's think about live for a second, right? Like let's take into example. Like now, Wade. Before I continue, I want to let you know this is not related to you. You already opened up about drinking and stuff like that. How you want to get, you don't want to do it anymore, anything like that. That was awesome. You just talked about that here on here. It's fucking great. But I'm gonna talk about it though. But it's not about you. All right. I
Yeah,
just want to make that very clear. Putting the expectation out there. So
transparency, man.
got you, brother. So drinking, right? If we drink so much of fucking alcohol, you're actually not living. Did you see my mouth when I did that? You're not living, right? Because you're forgetting everything that you're doing. You actually drink so much that you don't like. If you're drinking so much alcohol that you're fucking like, you just don't know what you did the day before. There was a guy, I remember, there's actually not a guy, there's a bunch of people who drink so much alcohol that entire weeks and months and sometimes years are complete blurs. They don't even remember. They don't even remember that they had a moment where they were living there. It's like, I don't remember at all. That's fucking crazy, right? Like you need to live, you need to experience things, you need to remember these stories that you're generating and creating. I think that living your life, man, is literally living out a story. Instead of necessarily finding your purpose, find the story that you want to create, right? Like the story I want to create, that I am creating for myself, very real. I want to be the type of entrepreneur that always set out to help others. That's the type of entrepreneur I want to be. I want to be the type of entrepreneur that isn't afraid to say, I fucked up. I want to be the type of entrepreneur that, brought light to this world. I'm not selling a product for my own gain necessarily. What I want to sell is I want to sell light and hope, right? That's the type of entrepreneur I want to be. I want to be the type of person that brings you into light, into hope, into having hope for yourself, not anything else other than your self-generated hope, right? Like that's the story I want to weave and create. I want to get paid for doing that. Like so I guess that's my purpose. I guess what I call it though is that's my story that I'm trying to create. Do you have one that you want to create, Wade?
Inspire others to help others. That's literally it. It's simple. It's very simple. If I come into money or I'm successful one day, which I very much plan to be, but success is a consequence of being a good person. Like, yeah, there are evil people who are successful,
For
but
sure.
it's more difficult to do the hard right than the easy wrong. And I'm not promising my path is going to be.
That's right.
I'm not promising it's going to be easy because it probably won't, and I will be tested. But you know what I mean. Money comes and goes. You never seen a U-Haul. You never see a U-Haul behind a hearse because you can't take any of this shit with you. You know. So I just want to leave my deeds and like a legacy and be a good person and help others.
You just did it again.
What's that?
You just did it again. You did one of your fucking like things where you're like, you don't see a U-Haul behind a hearse. Fucking, I love that.
That's
Fucking,
Denzel Washington.
no shit. That's fucking great. That's a great quote. Because you can't take any of this shit with you. I fucking love that.
Yeah. It was very prolific for me to read that. I was like, dude, that's so true. Like, I'm so caught up sometimes in the physical, like, I need to have this, I need to have that. But do I really need this? Do I really need that? You know what I mean? Or like, am I wasting my time? Because the most valuable resource in this entire planet that you can invest and invest and invest as much as you want and you'll never get it back is your time.
I can give an answer to this real quick. But first off, Wade, I love that. And I think you're right. That's why investing in yourself doesn't mean necessarily buying shit. It means like learning something, expanding your mind, expanding your personal your personal beliefs and improving yourself every day, right? But so what's the difference between surviving and living? So to me, we'll answer this and then we're gonna sign off. But the difference between surviving and living to me is a very clear difference, right? So that clear difference is when you're surviving, you're still in a anxious survival mode. Okay, you're not being mindful. You're not living in moments. Like I'm very grateful. I'm living in this moment, having this great conversation with Wade, and Wade looks fucking great. I'm very grateful to be looking at that fucking face. He looks great. He looks happier. He looks like he's doing some shit and he's getting some shit done. And I love that, right? Wade to me is I'm very happy to see Wade the way he is right now, right? I'm grateful to be on this, like talking about these topics and telling people reach out to your fucking people, check in on your people, and make sure you fucking know that they're okay and they know that you're there for them, right? And it's not about necessarily Project Refit, pushing Project Refit in front of them. No, it's making sure you're pushing yourself in front of them to make sure that they know they have you. So I think that is living. The fact that I'm like sitting here able to say these things in this moment, being grateful for enjoying where I'm at right now. Right now, I'm living in this moment, and I really appreciate it. That's what living is. Surviving is I'm like worried about shit constantly and not thinking about, moving forward and not thinking about how happy I am where I'm at. So I think it's a difference between happiness and sadness. What about you, Wade?
I was actually typing it on here. But I think that surviving is selfishness and living is selflessness. So
go into it. What do you mean? Define that.
Surviving is very much about yourself. You're just in it to go another day. And living is ensuring that there is a tomorrow.
That's great. I love that actually a lot. Okay. Fuck yeah. Simply put, another gangster drop by Wade. That's fucking awesome, dude. In Outriders how like you can collect a lot of shit and you're gathering resources and stuff like that. What is that called? Looting. I feel like you're dropping a bunch of good loot via your quotes and words sometimes, and I'm able to gather them, and I become stronger and more powerful. So thank you for that, buddy.
Hey, man, iron sharpens iron, brother.
Let's go. Hey, do you play Outriders, by the way, still?
I do, yeah. I haven't played in a little bit. Dude, I've been so busy like trying to catch up with schoolwork and then finals.
Totally get that. We gotta do some Outriders on our new gaming channel that Easton started. It's for Project Refit called Rally on Me.
Oh, I've been watching.
What's that?
I've been watching it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been cool, man. It's great. Another way for us to maybe reach some more people to get them some help or talk to them. Somebody just joined our Discord through it. It's fucking great, dude. So just continuing this mission to grow. So, but nonetheless, everybody, we're gonna peace out. We're gonna end this awesome conversation we just had. Thank you guys for tuning in with FML, which usually means fuck my life, but of course here it means for my life. And we are literally for our lives, but also for your life. We want you to live, man. Like, if you need a sign to not kill yourself, this is it. Don't fucking do it. Reach out to us and get your boys, get your girls, and make sure you have a fucking life party because it's literally worth living. Let's go. See you, everybody.